Hi, everybody. I am Cookie Dough, and this time I am coming here to you in person, um, where I am going to do a little bit of a different content, as you can see here, besides just my regular Let's Plays. Since I have all my parts here to put together my brand new PC here, I figured it'd be fun to kind of share it with you guys and go through it step by step. I mean, I'm not going to go fully crazy in detail, as technically this is my very first time putting together a PC from the ground up. And so hopefully no craziness will happen as we do this. But yeah, we'll kind of go step by step and go through it. I guess I'll just do a quick little rundown of the parts that I have here, and then we'll get right into it. I guess with the first most important part, the GPU, I'm actually going on with an AMD 7900 GRE. It's an RX, obviously, 7900 GRE. I figured I'll go with AMD. It's a good bang for the buck, and I guess I could get a little bit higher with some more VRAM GPU for a little less money than the uh, NVIDIA counterpart is, which will all be going together with a Ryzen 7 7700 CPU here. Don't worry about the markings here. I actually got this from AliExpress, which is pretty darn good. Um, I live it in Canada here, and this cost me $235 Canadian, that is. So it was a steal, I think. We will be putting that obviously all into a ASRock B650M PG Riptide Wi-Fi motherboard, um, and it'll all be powered by a Deepcool, what is it, PX850G, which is a 3.0 ATX power supply, and also another Deepcool AK400 digital CPU cooler with a 2 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro. Definitely happy about that one. And I guess the RAM is just an XPG Lancer Blade uh, uh, RAM here, 32 gigs at 6400 with a 32 CAS latency here. I mean, I know this is maybe not the best filming setup here that I have going. I mean, I kind of decided last minute here that I wanted to record this, so hopefully we can it'll come out as good as it can be. But for now, let me clear some of this stuff, and I'll start putting the CPU into the motherboard. But yeah, I'll be right back. Alrighty, here we have the motherboard. Again, as I said, it is an ASRock B650M PG Riptide Wi-Fi. So let's get it unpacked. It is brand new in the box. Now let me move these things to the side, because that's all that will be going into our motherboard. We got the antennas here. Couple of cables here, SATA cables. Don't know if I'll need that. Comes obviously with the uh, manual, a couple of, or actually the SSD retention slot. Got an ASRock sticker here. I don't think we'll be using any of that for right now. I will just take all of these things and put it just quickly to the side here. Actually, I did forget to mention, all of this is going to go into a Fractal Design Pop Air Mini, or Pop Mini Air. So hopefully that will be looking very nice. I definitely wanted something a little more compact, so we'll see how that goes. I'll just put this down here on the floor, and let's get our motherboard out of here. Alrighty. And there it is. It's a nice brand new motherboard. Still even has this little bit of a foam around it, which is kind of fastened with some zip ties. I do have a quick little wire cutters, which I will get rid of these things here. And here is the all motherboard all fully unpacked. And let's just get going with the most nerve-wracking part that I am kind of dreading here. I will be putting in the CPU in here. I'm definitely hoping I don't drop anything on the pins that are in there. So let's just take it one step at a time. I don't know if I'll need any of these screws. Actually, I might need the SSD retention screw, but let me double check here. I'll leave these in here as they are. So for now, let's unclip our bracket here and move this open. Okay, there we go. Take our CPU. Again, as I said, it's a Ryzen 7 7700, the non-X version. Again, it was a great deal on AliExpress. I couldn't pass it up. Otherwise, I would have probably gone with a 7600, maybe the X version of it. But I figured I think 7700 would be really nice. A little extra, I guess a little better for more productivity than just gaming. So I figured might as well get it going here. And there it is. So let's not drop it in there. Let's gently place it in the spot here. So let's go ahead and slowly put this in. Okay. And boom, there it is. We'll definitely keep this later on to just kind of have it around. I will put this here in this retention and put it back down onto the floor. And yeah, first step is done. Here's the motherboard with the new CPU in there. Now let's put in the RAM into the motherboard. It is a 32 gig set of XPG Lancer Blade. 6400 with 32 gig, 32 CAS latency. So let's get it into the system right now here. So we'll go one by one. Actually, let's open the slots that need to be. So that'll be A2 and B2. Okay, I guess this one is not the opening type. Never mind. Some other boards you can open both top and bottom. This one actually you cannot. It's just the top. So let's line it up here. No, it goes this way. So there we go. There's one stick. Boom. It's definitely in. We heard the patented click. It is definitely something we need to hear. And then put in the second piece of RAM here, or second stick. There we go. All right, is it lined up? Should be lined up. And boom, got it all clicked in. And there we go. So now we got the CPU and RAM all installed. Next thing will be the SSD. So let me just get rid of this and I'll be right back. Alrighty, now it's the time for the SSD. Again, as I said, it is the Samsung 980 Pro. It's a great SSD. It's 2 terabytes. I think for now it'll be good. I think I will be probably adding another stick a little bit later because I do have another slot for an NVMe. But for now, let's just go ahead and unpack it and put it in here. So we'll take this. You can definitely go on the ground. And let's get this opened here. So we've got the SSD here. So let's take off the heatsink in here. Alrighty, there we go. So this heatsink is off. I'll leave those screws in there. And then take our NVMe here. Nice, beautiful, brand new stick. And we will go ahead and put it in here now. There we go. It is in there. Let's not let this move too much. And that is beautiful. And I don't need to, because this is the one with the heatsink, I do not need to put in the retention screw on the SSD for now. So that is pretty good for here. So let me go ahead and, oh yeah, cannot forget to remove the actual heatsink sticker here off of it. So definitely do that. And then put this back on here, please. So let's line it up. For now, here's our motherboard with the, obviously, with the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD installed. Alrighty, now it's time to put on the CPU cooler on to the motherboard here. That's obviously the easiest done here out of the box. So before I even unpack this thing, which again, I'm using a Deepcool AK400 digital. It's the all black version, of course. I kind of like it. I think the little digital readout will be pretty cool, and definitely showing up outside of the glass from my case should be pretty good. But before I actually get into this, we do need to take off the standard mounting plates here on the motherboard. So I will go ahead and do that, and try not to drop my bit here on my motherboard. So I hope I did not do any damage to it. I guess only time will tell. Fingers crossed. But anyways, let's go ahead and take these retention brackets off. Alrighty, there we go. So the retention brackets are off. We'll put them on the side. It'll go into the box with the rest of the unused pieces of the motherboard. And I still cannot stop thinking that I actually dropped my screwdriver bit in there. I did not click it in fully because I changed it up after installing the SSD. So let's get this cooler out of the packaging here. There we go. We'll just put that on the ground. We need to definitely be careful because I don't want to put this on the desk as it has pre-applied thermal paste at the bottom of it. So let's just put that back on so that it can just sit on the table. And it is a very, very beautiful cooler indeed. But first things first, we need this little baggie, which has these little orange plastic clips, or they're not really even clips. They're just kind of orange sleeves to go over top of the standoffs here, where we took off the AM5 retention, or the AM5 mounting bracket that comes with the motherboard. So then next we will put on the mounting bracket, of course. So this will go with the two little things on each side so that it can screw in. We'll drop that in there. We are now flying through this here. Even though I think the hardest part will actually be all the wiring and getting everything in the case. But yeah, let's go ahead and screw all of this stuff down here. Now, we do have a couple of cables here. There's one, obviously, a USB cable that will be used to kind of control the whole digital part of it for getting the temperature. And I think it can do temperature and utilization of the CPU on there. And obviously a RGB cable, because it does have some RGB on it at the top and bottom. So we'll try to keep that there. There's that. So we will take off this thing and try not to smear any of the pre-applied paste anywhere else, and just slowly and gently drop it onto these pins here. So now to the cables that we have here. So like I said, we do have a USB cable that needs to go into a USB header, and obviously the RGB cable here, which I will actually leave for later on, because we will be I will be daisy chaining it into the fans that come with the case, as this case does have a RGB controller on the front I/O, and I kind of would like to have it all kind of synced up. I do want to mount also the fan in here so that we can get it into the fan header up there, which I think it should be this one here. I will double check that on the motherboard manual. There it is. So for now, let's get this up here. The motherboard definitely got a whole lot heavier now. So here's the motherboard all together with our RAM, with our SSD, and sorry, I ended up bumping the mic there. And the cooler and everything in there. So let me go ahead and get the case ready in here on the table, kind of clear up some of this room so that we can start putting this in here. But I also want to look at the motherboard manual just to make sure where the CPU fan header is so that I plug it in properly. But yeah, I will be right back. Alrighty, now we are ready to get the motherboard into the case here. And as I mentioned before, this is the Fractal Design Pop Mini Air or Pop Air Mini. I always screw that up which way it goes. It's a really nice case. I definitely like how nice and compact it is. Has a nice little glass panel here on the side. So let's just kind of take it apart, or at least take the panels apart, and then go from there. And then here we can see the inside of the case where nicely the motherboard will be going. And it already has some cable management done for us, which we'll probably have to get into and kind of do properly. But for now, it's pretty good. Also comes with a nice dust filter, which is magnetic here at the top. I actually won't have any sort of fans in here. Maybe I'll add some at a later date, but I think with the 7700, I don't think we'll need it. And I think the 2 intake and the 1 exhaust fan should be plenty to keep it cool. Alrighty, so let us put the motherboard into the case here. I did find these screws in here. They're for the motherboard. It would be nice if they just labeled them on here, just MB for motherboard would be pretty good here. And then slowly but surely line up this motherboard with all of the standoffs. So we will take our screws out of the little baggie here, and then slowly put them all into the spot with our handy screwdriver, making sure that the actual bit is in there so that I don't accidentally drop it in there again. So let's go ahead and do that. And alrighty, the motherboard is all in the case now. So now we can pick it up and admire the work we've done so far. It's looking pretty good, doesn't it? We did do, I guess, one of the more finicky parts, just getting the motherboard all assembled and put in here. Now, the more tedious part is actually putting in all the cable to front I/O cabling in the motherboard. I won't bore you guys with plugging in all the cables, so I'll kind of get this going myself here, and then I will get back once we actually do put in the power supply and the graphic card in there, because obviously the graphic card is the most exciting part. Alrighty, so I have connected as much of, obviously, well, not as much, all of the front I/O that is in here. I connected all the fans. All of that is connected. The CPU cooler is connected. I have everything done here. I'll see how this will do here. There's some still work to be done for cable management. It's looking like a mess, so hopefully this will go well. Actually, what I do want to do is remove the SSD holder. I already took out the hard drive holder that was at the bottom here because technically, if you look at the specs for this case here, it cannot fit a bigger than 150 millimeter power supply. The power supply I have is actually 160, but if you take out the hard drive cage and you don't use it, which I am not going to be using anyways, you can actually fit in a bigger one. That was kind of loud. Here is the power supply that we'll be using. It is a Deepcool PX850G. It is an ATX 3.0 and even has the 5.0 connector. So let's just put this a little bit to the side on my weird little round table. Not that much room, but I think it works. Let's take it out of the box. So we have a couple of things. There's a box in here that comes with all the cables that we will be needing for the build, and then the power supply itself is in here. Put the boxes down on the floor. There we go. It is absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. Look at that. So there's the power supply. Has the pretty cool little cyan or turquoise, whatever color that is, for the on and off switch, and has the same thing here on the back for the 5.0 connector. We do have our power supply here. So we have stuff for the GPU here, for the motherboard here, got the SATA for our fans and stuff like that, and just yeah, mainly for the fan controller here that will be done from the I/O itself, front I/O itself, and then do have the CPU one that is in here. Alrighty, so we have all the cables connected into the power supply itself. So now let's shove it into the case here and get to plugging in into our motherboard. And I did decide to actually even gonna put in the 4-pin for the CPU up top. I mean, it's there. Let's just plug it in. I know I'm not gonna be overclocking or anything like that, but let's put it in, so why not? Yes, that's what you're getting stuck on. I forgot to remove the second hard drive cage that was in there. That's the whole culprit. Let's go ahead and slide you in here. There we go. So now the power supply is in. Let me screw it in, and then we'll go ahead and together plug in all of the cables. Alrighty, I have routed all the cables. I did not want to bore you guys with just kind of routing, going which way these cables will be going. But yeah, so I routed them all into the proper spot, and now I think it should be fun to kind of connect them all together right now here. So let's go ahead and probably by starting off with the motherboard connector. So we will take the motherboard connector here. Go ahead. It's a big chunker, and get it to just all snap in. So there we go. The motherboard is in. I pre-routed the two GPU cables in here, so we will wait for that. And now the CPU cables. There we go. We'll do the 8-pin first, and it is in there. And then we will take the 4-pin here, and there we go. Alrighty, both of them are in. It's a mess back here. As you can see here, it is definitely a mess back here, but we will get that going in a second. I will do some cable management myself later on. But for now, let's plug in the last cable here. Well, not last cable, but last cable before we put in the GPU, which is the SATA here. Connect you. There we go. That should be fine. Connect you right along here. I think, yeah, that's exactly the right way to go. And boom, there we go. So we'll just put you out of the way and deal with you a little bit later. But now it is time for the main event here, which is obviously the GPU. So let me just turn this around for you guys, and I will come around and get the GPU. Here it is, the RX 7900 GRE. I am very, very excited to be putting this into my PC. Without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this bad boy and get the main event out of the box. Here it is. Oh yeah, new GPU smell. Smells like factory indeed. Okay, so here we go. Let's do some peels. This is actually a pretty hard peel here. There we go, beautiful. And then also do this peel at the back here. Oh yeah. Ah, there we go. There we go, beautiful peel. And now it is in its full glory here. So there is the GPU there. And I do need to remove some of these back plates here. So I will just, to make sure which ones I do need to remove, I will just kind of hover the card in here, and it's a pretty chunky card here. So yeah, I'll definitely need to remove the first and second slot. So now the main event, ladies and gentlemen. So we will obviously take off the protective cover on that there. Push the clip back on the PCIe slot, and then just gently line it up here. Make sure that it's all fully lined up where it needs to be. There we go. Boom. Okay. It is fully in. Absolutely beautiful. So I will just put these two screws back in there. And the graphics card is finally fully in the build. It is absolutely looking gorgeous. I'm definitely excited to try it out and fire it up. But of course, first we do need to connect it in to the power as well. So let's plug in the last two things and then get the monitor, keyboard, and mouse and just test it out for now. But yeah, let's do the nice little plug-in here. There it is. It is all done and assembled. We do need to put in a couple of things in here. Obviously, the front and side panels would need to go in. But yeah, I think it's time to just give it a spin to see if it boots up and see what we did here. But before any of that, let's do this peel here. Boom, there we go. All right, so yeah, let me go ahead and get a monitor and see how this thing will do. Alrighty, so now we have a monitor here and our fully assembled computer. And now it is time to hold our fingers and hold our breath to see if this is actually going to turn on. So I have connected everything. The monitor is connected to the power. The PC is connected to the power. DisplayPort is in right in the graphics card down there. And so let's go ahead and turn on this monitor. Make sure that it works. There it is. And here comes the big question. Will it actually boot? Oh no. One thing I did forget to do is to put it down to 1 on the power supply. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Let's get it primed. And then let's go ahead and push the button. Fans are spinning. We do have lighting. We do have RGB. Fans is spinning. I do like that. So now will we actually get a signal here going to our monitor? I hope that we will. So that should be pretty good. But yeah, I'm happy that it actually turned on. So we did definitely do some things right. And I hope all of the things right. So let's see how all of this will go. I think it might be cycling here a little bit. Is it going? Is it going? Do we have anything here? DisplayPort in. ASRock, we do have a signal. Absolutely fantastic. absolutely amazing. This is so good. So yeah, there we go. Riptide Wi-Fi processor type Ryzen 7 7700, 8 core, speed 3800 hertz. Absolutely amazing. There we go. We do have DDR5 obviously in there. It's not running at the uh, top speed, but we do have it now. But let's go ahead and I think I will finish the video here because I do want to go ahead and set this up all by myself, take my time. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video here. If you like this type of content, I would love to do some more, maybe some more PC builds. Uh, I was even thinking of maybe doing some PC builds and trying to flip them, see how that will go. But yeah, actually, I do want to thank. Uh, they don't know about me. I'm just a very lowly YouTube channel, but PC centric, Zach's Tech Turf, and Scattervolt. Actually, those three channels I've relied on the most for help with building this PC. So and it obviously worked. So if any of you guys want to do it and doing it for the first time, I mean, this was literally my very first time putting together a computer here, and it's working. That's all that's really needed. So I will spend a few hours here setting all of this up, getting Windows on it. But for now, thanks a lot for coming and watching this different type of episode, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.